You
What
were
was
talking
mine?
about the moon and
Oh,
the
okay. Well,
missing the missing
basically,
3 days.
yeah, right. So, as again, and I've got a good friend who's a flat earther here. We traveled across the country together to go to the cannabis farm, and spent that much time together and meet at meetups and whatnot. And he's a smart guy, and he watched my video and came back and said something, and we gone back and forth about this, that, and the other. Yeah, but and so I'm trying to figure out what I'm not saying well, because I think that it's pretty clear and pretty obvious and it makes sense to me, but I don't know why it's not making sense to him. So basically, I don't see any way around this because the new moon happens right in the middle of the cycle. Well, so to speak. I mean, it depends on how it's all relative, I guess. So, uh, right now, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. So right now, I'm going to say we're 4 days into the waxing crescent, because the very first time it was visible again was Thursday night.
As a
Okay?
sliver.
Yeah. The last time it was visible like that was Monday night. So on Monday night, you have the waning gibbous on the right side, right? Here's the crescent moon, and so the sun is over here or whatever, or maybe it's the opposite way. Maybe this is the sun, and so whatever. That's what I was going to say. So Monday night, you're at the very end of the waning cycle, and you're at the thumbnail sliver. That's Monday night. And so you wait till Tuesday night, and you look out, no moon. Where'd it go? So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are 3 days that you cannot see the moon. It's there. It's swallowed up in the glory of the sun, but you can't see it. It's still going through its phases, but you can't see it until it shows up again 3 days later, which is what it did. So where are those 3 days in our Wikipedia entry? Because we're told about the 14 days of waxing and the 14 days of waning, and that's just 28. And then we get a 29.5 in there somewhere somehow. But still, that's 1.5 short. So, to me, it just, I don't know, maybe I've missed it. Maybe someone else has said it, but everybody that I'm talking to seems to have a glitch where it doesn't make sense to them. So either I'm not saying it very clearly, I don't know. I don't even know what the other option would be.
If you were to count it from full moon to full moon, how many days is that you can actually observe?
I'd have to do that, right? I mean,
Okay.
I would have to, which is frustrating because yesterday and today the sky was covered with clouds, so I couldn't film the moon yesterday or today. I won't be able to do it. So those kinds of weather conditions throw a monkey wrench in taking these kinds of scientific notations. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but the only time to study the stars is at night, like all night long, because you got to watch and
Okay.
see where they go. So who's doing that? Like, not everybody in the village is going to do that. People like to sleep. I like to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, so somebody who's an astronomer is staying up all night, but then getting his rest during the daytime, so to speak, because his job is to study the sky, right? But you can only do it at night. So then, if you have a week of cloud cover, that's going to really screw up your science because you have no idea what happened in those 5 days because you couldn't see anything. So then you have to go to the next year and make a note that on this week of this month in this season, I couldn't see the sky because of weather conditions. So next year at this exact time, I'm going to pay attention to see if the sky is clear, because if the sky is clear next year during that same duration, then I can kind of throw back and say that that's what happened the year before too. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, this would take a long time to map out the sky.
Yeah. The the Passover. If we were Jewish, we would be celebrating the Passover in the spring, wouldn't we? Is it the nearest full moon to the spring equinox?
Equinox, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, they don't use those terms, but it is the new moon in the fourth. I think it's the fourth month.
Well, Easter Sunday is the nearest Sunday to the nearest full moon to the nearest spring equinox.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
why it
that,
changes.
yeah, and that's predictable. I mean, you get a diary for January the 1st, and it tells you when the full moon is going to be at Easter. That's predicted, isn't it? And it always happens.
Okay.
And then 28 days later, does your diary tell you that it'll be a full moon 28 days later? And if that is the case, and if that's what you observe over the next year, what you're going to be seeing is a waxing moon for 13 and a half days. No, yeah, and a waning moon. No, not 13. Would it be? It's 28. Not visible for 3, so it's hard. So 12 days you're going to see a waxing, and 12 days you're going to see a waning, and the difference is the moon's not there.
Well, it is. I wouldn't say that. I would say the moon's not visible.
Yeah. So I think we should be measuring our days from full moon to full moon.
You think that's the way we should be doing it? Is that what you said?
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, man. I would love to start my life over again and study all of this shit from my youth.
Yeah.
I would love. I mean, seriously. Like, I would love to study the natural sciences. Based on what I know now, how it's just complete bunk, I'd rather just learn this stuff on my own, per se. To a certain extent. I'm not trying to be a complete island, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. So because I even noticed a bit of a hiccup, and looking that you've got to tweak this and you've got to tweak this because I don't think it's as clinical and neat, and by it I mean nature's display. Like it. What did somebody say? And I don't know about this. I think I heard it once before, but somebody reiterated it on either my Facebook page or something else. They said, the moon is only 100% full during an eclipse. So that even in the month when you have a full moon, you never see the full moon. That's kind of weird, in my opinion. But you can't know that with the naked eye.
Well, a full moon is a very glorious heavenly event, isn't it?
It absolutely
and you
is.
See
I
a full
love
moon.
going outside when I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go do Uber, and it's a full moon, and it's very bright outside. I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
My point is, when I look up at the moon, if it's 99% full, I can't tell.
No, you couldn't. The 2 days on each side as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So then here's my objection. That's impossible for the moon not to be full every single time. It's impossible. Now, you might miss it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't full. Because if it's going through this cycle, right? Whatever this cycle is, if it's going through its fullness and then depletion and then increase, like it's increasing, and then it diminishes, there has to be a point in there where it's full. There has to be. You can't not be full if I don't even know. I don't know how to make that more clear. So okay. Oh no, I was just going to say my point is just to echo yours again, that because you whittled down 14 days to 12 because you got to make room for the 3 days.
Yes, yeah.
But even the 3 days, right? But see, even the 3 days isn't necessarily perfect per se, I guess. But Monday night was the last sliver of the waning moon. Thursday night is the first sliver of the waxing moon. Monday night, Thursday night, Tuesday night. Oh, right. I'm sorry. Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday. That's 3 days. You don't have to have. It's like Jesus didn't stay in the grave all day on Sunday. Well, because then he wasn't in the grave for 3 days. No, he was in the grave over a span of 3 days. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I do get whenever my diary says full moon on this particular night, it could be absolute full at 1 minute to midnight. So which day is it going to really be?
Right, and the whole equinox thing too is the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not studied the equinox, and so it's only going to be regurgitated secondhand information. But you know, the like you said, you buy a diary and it tells you that March 23rd is going to be the spring equinox, and then you got people like Take Back Space TV, who says that those aren't accurate because it doesn't always match up. You can only know that the nights and days were equal as if you measure them yourself, but no one's doing that, at least like you and me. Like all these people around here, no one's paying attention to how long the day is. You know what I mean? Like we're not doing that. But I think that the equinox is another example of what you brought up, which is a good point, and that's kind of like the flexibility in that time duration, like when the phases phase out. This, that, yeah. But I do think that there is symmetry to it. I do think that there is an almost like a. Oops. Oh. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, that was weird. I closed out this window and it took you down. And I thought, oh no, hang on. What was I saying?
The symmetry.
Yeah. So then before new moon, after new moon, the symmetry. So you've got it's almost like you know, coming up to the apex and then moving away, and then coming back up and then moving away. I see the sun and the moon like palm, because again, the moon was coming closer to the sun. We only see the sun and the moon going across the sky like this, right? So we only see it. We only see it here. So after it's here, it comes back over here, and does it again, right? So then what happened, and this I was kind of like visualizing this again. What happened last week was the moon kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the sun, and then it fell behind. So now the moon is lagging behind the sun, and they're going farther and farther and farther and farther away from each other. But when they come together, it's new moon, and then when they go back around, it's full moon. You know, it's a complete circle. It's 100% complete, 100% intact. But those, I don't know what the word, those segues, those transitions from one phase to the next phase to the next. It's like sometimes, I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but a lot of times when I look up where the moon was the night before, sometimes it seems like it's not in the place it should be. And that's really weird. So to me, and because I'm just driving around and living my life and not studying the sky, you know, I might be misthinking something. I might be misremembering where the moon was last night. But I'm like, man, the moon was right there last night, and now it's right here. Like, that doesn't seem to make sense. So then I'm just wondering about whether or not each day, you know, the moon travels the same amount of distance equally as it moves away from the sun. And I just don't know that that's the case, but that was a random thought. So anyway, that's my newest thing besides spirituality. I'm still trying to expose myself to things that are helpful. I just don't really find a lot of stuff that I'm coming across as helpful.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I've escaped into chess, and it's an interaction with other human beings.
Yeah, right, absolutely, and it's a great one.
Well.
It's a good one to follow up after 3 years of isolation. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it just happened by accident, really, but it's great. I'm loving it, and I hope I can keep it up. I can keep up the interest.
All right, so we're gonna play chess. Do you have time for play chess?